when you see this guy run, you'll understand why.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good idea what he's going to run. I'm not going to ask him to tell us.
What's your prediction?
4-4-2.
Okay, all right.
I might know some people that know you, and I have a pretty good idea where you're going to fly down the track.
All right,
was that
I'm
close?
going to ask you. I'm going to ask you. What? Give me the range. Where do you think? Right?
I think that'll be close.
All right, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be in there. Okay, he's hoping for 4.39. That's what that
Let's
means
do it.
right there.
I'd love to see it.
Yo, what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Connor Rogers and I are here. Yes, we're playing Nostradamus as we sit there. Nostradamus, whatever, one of them.
Getting closer each time.
Definitely, but it's just funny how you sit there, you psychoanalyze guys.
Yeah.
You could tell some of the guys, they have lofty expectations, but they don't want to put themselves out there and put something out like, I want to run 4.39, and then you run 4.44, and everybody roasts them on social media, whatever.
Right, don't set the bar too high.
Don't set it too high.
So funny
but we
enough,
could tell with that guy.
After the cameras turned off and when we said goodbye to Kenyon Sadiq, he came up to me and he goes, I think I'm going 4.39.
Oh, I love it.
And I was like, he felt like that was his consistent timing.
Yes.
And guys, you never know how it's going to match up with the track in Indy. That's always the biggest concern.
It definitely is. What have I been training on at home? What kind of turf is it? Does this have more black pebbles in it?
Right.
That makes it a little slower. So, yeah, you're right.
Did you get the perfect sleep the night before?
Yeah, sure.
Because when you're training, it's down to a science.
Yes.
When you're in Indy, it's hey, guess you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you get to talk to 15 teams until midnight.
Right.
And then
Be
you get
stressed out, and then you got to wake up at 4:30 and take a piss test because we got a drug test you here.
Right, so
you're like, wait, what?
You might not be at peak performance.
There's definitely that.
Kenyon Sadiq, though, I don't think it really matters.
No,
that was a show.
First off,
we'll get into it.
We're gonna get into it. But his legs are the first thing that jumps out.
He's carved out of stone.
He really is. He's carved out of stone with that type of athletic performance. Yeah, he's got a chance to be something special. But it was cool to see him kind of get what he wanted there in that.
Yep.
And we're going to hit on all of that. We got a bunch of freaks to talk about. We're going to hit on all combine, right? Everything except the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are going to come on the Tuesday podcast, so we're going to make you wait. This is going to just be all other positions and some football news, and we're going to break it all down from here
And we got some news right at the top
here.
The Texans, this is interesting. You don't get a ton of these.
No.
The old NBA style, or it's kind of not the sign and trade, but the trade and sign, where the extension was done before the trade happened. The Texans have traded Tytus Howard to the Browns. We know the Browns this offseason, a big mission for them is going to be kind of rebuilding this offensive line that has aged out and had some holes naturally develop. And you could say the same about the Texans.
Well, that's where it's a surprising thing.
So this trade hits.
Right.
What's the top of mind thing for you?
Top of the mind right off the bat was, the Texans don't have that many good offensive linemen, and this is one of their better ones.
And they did this last year.
Exactly. So I was a little bit like, really? Wow, I'm surprised by this. I am. And off of that, I look at the Houston roster, and you just go, and this is where I think it's the hardest thing about our job. Is offensive linemen that are already on a team. What have they looked at? What do they look like? What do the guys coming up the ranks look like? How much faith does a team have in a guy that we haven't seen, but he's been a backup guard and he's been doing good in training camp and he's good in practice. And we're looking at it going, wait, how could this work? Now, and that's where I go with this one a little bit because, Tytus Howard, he's got swing versatility, right? Can play guard or tackle. Probably he's a better guard. We know that, but can do it. But then there's the other aspect of, am I surprised? We went through another year here, second year in a row, to your point of where we just go, hey, this offensive line's not that dominant. I mean, they can't impose their will and run the ball. They got steamrolled by just, a good front with the New England Patriots. Not even like the greatest front in football. We saw that. So we saw them have troubles running the ball. We saw them have troubles pass protecting with C.J. Stroud. But the thing you do look at is they do have some young guys on their roster where you go, maybe they think they're about to be something.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's a Juice Scruggs.
Yeah.
Right? Who's, second-round pick from 3 years ago, but is he ready now? Is there a Blake Fisher, the second-round pick from last year's draft, or 2 years ago, right? Maybe they think he's ready to take the next step. And then what you don't know is some of the other guys they have on their radar that they think might be released out there in free agency that are cap casualties where they have their eyes on because that's what good front offices do is they go, wait, hey, Connor in the back room, look at, all the AFC South salary cap situations and make a list of offensive linemen that you think could be possibly salary cap casualties. So teams have a good idea of that, but regardless, that was my initial thought, that the Texans don't have that many great offensive linemen, and they're getting rid of one of their better ones they got.
Yeah, so Tytus Howard now 30 years old and gets extended for a second time. He had a 3-year extension back in 2023 with this trade. So that's kind of
So they didn't want to pay him again.
There you go.
At the age.
That's right.
And that's why they got rid of it. That's basically what, if you connect the dots, that's kind of seems like what
right. It was
what
like this. It was kind of decision time.
Right. It was kind of like, do we really want to extend him? He's getting to age 30 here. What do we think? Right. All right. We're getting a 5th-round pick for him. We don't want to pay him. We got other things we got to worry about paying certain players here. And we're going to offload that to the Cleveland Browns, and they get a 5th-round pick, and we'll see what they can do with that.
But like you said, now the storyline is piecing together their offensive line, because the number one story for the Houston Texans this offseason is, how are we going to get C.J. Stroud back to the confident pocket passer that we know he could be? And all of that starts right with the offensive line. That's the whole conversation. So I think it's one of those things, Chris. It's like when the baseball offseason starts and nobody makes a move, and you're like, this is a disaster, and you got to see the whole thing play out. It feels like for the Texans, you have to see the whole thing play out. Is there a free agent they like? Is there a draft pick they like? This tackle class, there's going to be plenty of options, and even the guard class, there's going to be plenty of options, even where they pick late in the draft. But right now, it's a little bit of like, okay, now we have one less piece for something that was already a problem.
Right.
It's interesting to start this way.
Exactly right. Now, and let's see. I'm looking at it right now, just people that could possibly be out there for them to sign in free agency. We do have a Braden Smith that's going to be out there, right? There's Jonah Williams, who, again, not a star, but, can he start and do that? There's some older veteran types that I think we got some questions about, whether that's a Kevin Zeitler and where he would be in his career.
Right.
But there's not a ton of guys here. Rasheed Walker, are they going to make a play for him?
He's going to get a lot of money.
He's really the gem of the market right now. So I think you look at that. David Edwards from the Bills being a free agent as a guard, good player. Right, Zion Johnson, right? I mean, Connor McGovern's available, off of Buffalo as well. Not that they need him or need a center, but yeah, just to throw out some options there of what might happen. And then on top of that, what's crazy is Ed Ingram is a free agent for them as well. So yeah, we got one team, Cleveland Browns, who have had one of the best offensive lines in football for quite some time. It's finally come to an end. They're trying to retool on the fly, and yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the plan of attack is for the Houston Texans.
Do you like it for the Browns side?
Yeah.
Because you had to pay him.
Yeah.
He's 30, but offensive line.
Yeah, they can play longer than most people.
They play longer. I totally agree. And to the Browns' problem, much like the Texans' problem a little bit, is it's not one move they need to make.
No.
You could argue this is the first of 3 moves they're going to make? 4? Are they going to be new across the board at all 5 spots?
I would think they'd find a way maybe to keep one guy or maybe 2 out of the 4 that they've got as far as that are unrestricted free agents. And then, yeah, they're going to fill in from there, whether it's free agency in the draft, and probably try to start some young nucleus for the future under Todd Monken and whoever might be quarterback, Shador or Deshaun Watson, as we go forward here.
So you got to talk to Monken.
Yeah.
You would have to think this is a priority for him, right, up front with how Baltimore always operated as well.
I would think so. Yeah. And, coming from Georgia where he was before that, they had offensive linemen. I think he knows, and what we've seen from his offense is, he's one of those guys we like. He believes in the run game. He believes in physical football, and he believes in the play-action pass off of that, and that was a huge part of what made Lamar Jackson almost a 2-time MVP under his tutelage. 1-time MVP, might have got robbed, depending on what you believe, Josh Allen or him the second time. So, yeah, I think that no doubt that's a part of Todd Monken and his belief on the offensive side of the ball.
More offensive line news. The Chiefs plan to release their right tackle, Jawaan Taylor.
Yeah, not shocked about that.
Right.
Now, the one thing with Andy Reid, he's kind of like a offensive lineman guru, as I always say. But Jawaan Taylor, it always felt like maybe a little overpaid. hasn't played up to the contract and what they wanted.
Right.
They got a little desperate at the position, and they had to make a move, and they got Jawaan Taylor, and they were kind of stuck with it for a few years. But, yeah, is there somebody there, that they feel like? Is Wayne Morris ready to maybe make that? Do they feel like he's ready to make that transition to be the full-time right tackle, right? Is Kingsley Suamatia, who started out as a left tackle his first year in the NFL.
Right.
He's playing left guard right now. But would I be shocked, maybe year 3, that they said, hey, we think you could play right tackle?
You're ready now?
That's not shocking, right? He's a road grading right tackle type of body there. So, again, hard to figure out exactly what they want to do there. But that one, unlike the Tytus Howard, the Houston Texans thing, not shocked that Jawaan Taylor's being released, and we'll see where it goes from there. I mean, the play hasn't been great. And, of course, he's been one of the most penalized offensive linemen in the sport for the last few years, and that's been an issue for their football team.
And you could argue he's gotten away with
a ton.
He's
probably gotten away with more penalties than anybody in the history or in the last 2 years as well. Yeah.
The money aspect for the Chiefs, this is massive. You almost had to cut him.
Yeah.
Even if you liked him, you had to kind of figure out a way to make it work. They're going to save $20 million by moving on from him.
Yeah, that's big time.
This feels like the most the most variance that the Chiefs are going to have in an offseason in a while. Feels like they kind of kept chugging along the same way with the same guys.
I think they finally, it's the what is it? The rubber finally hit the road.
There you go.
Or the paint hit the shit hit the fan. The paint hit the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know, but regardless, yes, I think they, of course, have been awesome. They've been really good, but last year it was like the egg on the face to go, okay, we haven't been dominating. Yeah, we found ways to win some of these close games, but we got to kind of retool and become a little more dominant in certain positions on our roster here as we go forward. And the one thing I know about the Chiefs is with Andy Reid and Mahomes, they're one of those few teams we always talk about that's kind of willing to put the chips in the middle of the table and go, we're going for it.
Yeah,
and you would expect them to recalibrate and figure out how they can kind of jostle their roster around here and make themselves one of the better teams in football once again.
All right, our last bit of news before we get to a lot of the combine stuff. The Giants are listening to trade offers for Kayvon Thibodeaux. This isn't shocking with the state of their roster.
Yes.
Burns and Abdul Carter are the guys there. Joe Shane, though, on the Dexter Lawrence trade question said, I don't know where they are coming from.
Yes.
A lot of Giants news.
I would second that, first off.
Well, that just makes no sense.
No, that I don't know where that totally seems like an internet bullshit rumor, almost like the Texans might release or try to trade C.J. Stroud.
Right.
It's like, who started that? Where did that come from? Is that Pizzagate? I mean, what the hell are we talking about? Like, seriously, like, it's crazy. And first off, what you got right now, you got Denard Wilson, who believes in big people on the defensive line. And Dexter Lawrence is no question one of the 3 or 4 best defensive tackles in all of football. So, yeah, that makes no sense. There's no way they're letting him go. One of the strengths of their team is their defense right now. We know that, or their defensive front. Now, the Kayvon Thibodeaux thing, like you said, we're not surprised by that.
Sure.
I think they did a disservice to Abdul Carter last year in favor of Kayvon Thibodeaux, which was wrong. Kayvon Thibodeaux is not in the class of Abdul Carter as a pass rusher. Abdul Carter was already the second best pass rusher on their team last year. And don't just look at sacks. Look at pressures, how we got to the quarterback, the disruption. That was way better than people are giving it credit for when you break down Abdul Carter. And now think of what he can be when he's going to play on the outside consistently.
That's right.
Right? We came in here so many weeks last year going, is he just going to play defensive tackle at third down all the time?
Right.
Is that what he is? And so that wasn't fair to him. So, yes, within that, they got to put him at the position they drafted him for, to where he'll be most successful and most dangerous for their team and for opposing offenses. And Kayvon Thibodeaux is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I was always one that I never thought he was worth the top 5 pick. I never thought that. But a first-round pick, sure. I always was aware of that. But I think the things that I worried about coming out in college are the same things we see now. It's not super explosive. It doesn't have great bend or fluidity around the edge, right? He's physical. He's strong. He plays hard. Right. I like all of that stuff. But, yeah, this is the Abdul Carter, Brian Burns show now. And we'll see where it goes. But here's what I ask you. What do you think they could get for a Kayvon Thibodeaux?
I'm fascinated by this. So, number one,
he had what? 2.5 sacks last year?
Yeah, and I believe he's been banged up at different times.
He is.
It's kind of fitting to his style. Like, he plays like a rugged edge.
He plays like a rugged edge.
He's not the size of one.
And he does. But he's also a little leaner and thinner than sometimes you see those guys on the edge.
Exactly, so he gets beat up.
Exactly right.
So here's the situation, Chris. Yeah. They almost have to trade him. Not have to, but in theory, it's logical to trade him because, one, he's playing on the fifth-year option. If you trade him on the fifth-year option, you save all $14.7 million. Every last cent.
Right.
Every last cent. You don't owe anything.
Right.
You're not going to sign him after his age 26 season because you have two number one pass rushers.
Yes.
You have Brian Burns, who's unbelievable, still underrated.
Definitely.
Abdul Carter, like you said.
It's a budding superstar.
You didn't have to watch the tape the last month of the season. If you watch the Giants play, he stood out on
no question.
the broadcast every time.
Right.
Kayvon Thibodeaux is probably a really solid number 2 somewhere.
Yes.
Like a team that needs a number 2, a little more dirty work, run defender, effort rusher is like what I like to call them.
Right.
I know it seems disrespectful, but it's not. Those guys are valuable in this league.
Exactly right.
You almost wish you could find what the Jets just did, the player-for-player swap, because picks are always good, but I feel like John Harbaugh wants to really floor it here. Like, he's like, I want to win right now. That's why you hear already Jeremiyah Love and Sonny Styles connected to the Giants because they're not afraid of, we need the perfect player for year. No, like, let's get a great player right now. Let's do it right now.
Right.
But those are hard to figure out.
Yes.
Like Jermaine Johnson and Tavondre Sweat, it was like, this makes a ton of sense. The teams know each other. It's a scheme-for-scheme swap. They're both affordable at this stage. A team taking on $15 million is a lot of money.
It is.
So can they find a player to offload? I'm trying to think. Like, this feels like a player that the Bears should be calling on.
I don't disagree with you there.
They come top of mind.
Right? The Dallas Cowboys need edge guys. I thought about them, but I doubt an in-division swap would happen there. But yes,
Patriots?
in theory, the Patriots, I mean, he would fit that. He's certainly 3-4-ish type outside linebacker like you talked about. He plays physical. He can set the edge. He plays the run game. He's just not going to be the guy that you're going to go consistently. We feel like he can get 10 to 12 sacks. That's the problem with Kayvon Thibodeaux. So, yeah, where does that go? But I'm with you that, I would think, yes, he gets traded when it's all said and done. I would think the Giants would want to trade him before the draft for the reasons you said. So Harbaugh and Joe Schoen have a little more things to play with here in the draft because it makes no sense to keep him, like as you're explaining. Yeah, I know we need a lot of pass rushers, but, too many assets at one spot, that starts to affect your team, like we've kind of talked about with Chicago and DJ Moore.
Right.
Maybe there's your player-for-player swap to some degree.
They also are trying to trade Tremaine Edmonds.
That's right.
And the money is almost identical.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
But, Tremaine Edmonds, I don't know what you think of him as a player right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't think so either.
No, I think the Giants' middle linebackers as they have them right now are better than Tremaine Edmonds.
And they are still talking about upgrading.
Exactly right.
So,
I'm not for that either.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted the basic test, and I don't know if I said this to you, but I know I said this to some people in Chicago last week on the radio and stuff at the Combine. I just said, hey, Tremaine Edmonds, he's still a freaky athlete. Yeah. He's big, he's long. But I just said, come on, let's be serious. I mean, Chicago was on national TV like the last 7 weeks of the year. How many times did we say Tremaine Edmonds' name? I mean, almost none. I mean, right. So that, again, sometimes those basic tests just like that say all you need to hear. But regardless, yes, I would think there's something out there for Kayvon Thibodeaux. 5th-year option, right? Not signed up longer than that. You only get 1 year from him. I don't know what you'd get. I would think you could maybe get a 3rd rounder, right?
I was going to say 3rd or 4th rounder.
I don't think you're going to get anything higher than that, right? You're going to get a 3rd rounder because the team's really getting him as a 1-year rental, and they're going to hope he can turn into something to where they offer him a long-term deal. We'll see. But there's no way Sexy Dexy is leaving there. And yes, I would love to see the Giants trade Kayvon Thibodeaux, not because I don't think he's a good player, because we want to set up Brian Burns and Abdul Carter to take over, and then hopefully, to your point, John Harbaugh can go, and I think you're right where I am, where he's looking at the team going, we're kind of a little better than people realize. Right. Like, a few players, and like, whoa, we can be kind of a player here in the NFC. And I would imagine with the new coach energy bump that we always see and all that, yeah, as we've said, and I've said on other radio stations, the Giants, to me, have the chance to be that team that are way down, picking at the top of the draft, that could surprise people next year and be in the playoff conversation. I don't think that's a crazy thing to sit here and say that as we sit here March 2nd.
They're probably looking at themselves, what the Patriots did last year. It's like, okay, we got Vrabel, established head coach. We got Harbaugh, established head coach.
Second-year quarterback
who had some really big moments the first year. The roster's a little better than we even thought. We have assets to use.
Exactly.
Really good assets. This other one is pretty interesting, by the way. This is a report from Connor Hughes, who I work with at SMY. He said the Giants are looking to make a strong push for Kenneth Walker, a running back.
Yeah.
But Kenneth Walker was top of mind.
Yeah.
Does this surprise you with what they have in Scadaboo and Tyrone Tracy, or is it like, no, they need like the dude?
I think they need the dude, and I don't think you can totally depend on Scadaboo as we sit here.
It's
a serious injury. There's no way Scadaboo is going to be what we all saw him to be the first half of this year. I would almost say the first half of this year, he's going to be a shell of himself. Yeah, he might get out there and play, but is he going to be able to run people over and pull away from people and break tackles like we saw to the same capacity? I would doubt that with that type of injury. Again, when, you're facing the North Pole and your foot's facing the South Pole, it's going to be a little weird at first. And then when your job is to jam your leg into the ground and make sharp cuts with people hitting you as you're doing it, it takes a minute, as we know. So, yeah, I think this is where they're looking at this, and they're probably playing around with this idea to go, wait, maybe we get, the running back in free agency, and now we're free with the top of the draft to kind of go where we want, whether that be a receiver or a Sonny Styles at linebacker or something like that, right? Caleb Downs, whatever. They can do that. Instead of the vice versa, which is maybe can we find somebody like, on defense in free agency at safety or middle linebacker, and then we draft Jeremiyah Love at running back, which
this is going to be the combo.
This is going to be the combo. So the big thing is going to be, what does Kenneth Walker expect to get on the open market? But I don't think this is crazy. And again, Kenneth Walker can do it all. He can definitely play in a Matt Nagy offense. And if you want to play John Harbaugh smash mouth downhill football, Kenneth Walker's capable of doing that as well, right? But ultimately, I still sit here and go, man, if you want to change your franchise and get going right now, Jeremiyah Love is very appealing to me. And I know everybody out there is going to go, well, it's a running back. Oh, the value. No, he's special. He's a little different. The team's better now than what it was when it drafted Saquon. They'll be able to support him the right way. And stop telling me about longevity. The league it's 3-year contracts. It's 2-year contracts. It's all about the next 3 to 4 years, and then we'll move on and think about something else. So let's see where it goes here. But, yeah, Pete Dummelelitis is still scarred by Saquon Barkley. He doesn't trust me with this whole Jeremiyah Love combo.
We'll get him there. We'll get him there by give it like a month or two.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're there in a good way and not sabotaging us like some freaking Jet fan or something. You're like, hey, yeah, take him. Go ahead.
No, it's real. Yeah, we'll get into it during the Combine talk. I walked away from Indy wondering, I'm like, I don't think he's going to be there at 5.
He might not.
There's at least a real chance now. It's that special. We're gonna talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We're going to the break here after that. But yes, there's an argument to be made about Jeremiyah Love, other than Fernando Mendoza, is the best offensive player in the draft.
You asked me you said, like, what do you think Kenneth Walker's going to get?
Yeah.
Kind of look at what Josh Jacobs got going into your age 26 season.
Right.
Bruiser, but reliable basically all the way around.
Yeah.
Besides, he's been banged up, but that's a different combo. Josh Jacobs signed a 4-year, $48 million deal. There wasn't a ton of guarantees deep into the deal.
No, right.
But I think that's what you'd be looking at.
I would think so. I would think something like that.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Why would Seattle just not franchise?
I would agree. Right. I would think that would be like, let's just do it. Let's just franchise. What's the franchise number? Right around 12 or 14, probably?
So the regular franchise is 14. No one can talk to him.
Yeah.
If you want to open the door for him to talk to teams, it's 11.3.
Right.
But what I like about the transition tag, which is 11.3, it's nothing. A 1-year, $11.3 million deal. If teams talk to him and he signs a tender with them, you just match it because they're doing the work for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go to Kenneth Walker and be like, here's $100 million guaranteed. Now you're like, we can't sign that. We lose him for nothing.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm a little surprised, and there's a lot of time left.
Yeah.
But I'm a little surprised it seems like they're just like, nah.
Yeah, I'm agreed. I agree too.
Maybe they know something we don't. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe they're worried about it. Maybe they think they have the ability to find running backs and continue to go from there. They do have some other guys they got to start worried about paying. So there's probably a little bit of that as well. And maybe they're just kind of waiting and sitting back and going to kind of see. Maybe they know Kenneth Walker really likes it there too. And that is if they can test the market and then they can come with something close, they go, well, we'll get him back. We got that deal, right? That does happen at times. But to your point, Kenneth Walker is one of those rare guys where it's like he can score anytime, anywhere, and there's not a lot of them out there. And to pay $12 million or $14 million for it is not crazy. But yeah, that Josh Jacobs contract or a contract that's 2 years, with maybe a little bit more guaranteed money and a higher average. I could see anything
like
go down like that.
32 mil,
right?
16 a year.
2 years, 32 mil.
Yeah.
We give you 22 guaranteed, right? Something like that.
That makes sense,
right? Like we saw, like Justin Fields have a contract like that last year, a little bit, something of that nature. But we'll see where it goes. But let's break it all down on these running backs after the break.
All right, we're going to take that break. Keep the comments flowing. We're going to read a ton of them, reacting to the NFL Combine. Chris and I will give you our biggest thoughts, including that Jeremiyah Love conversation right after this.
On DraftKings Sportsbook, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up.
Let's take a look at the odds from DraftKings on who will draft Jeremiyah Love. It's early in the process, but if you've been reading every mock draft hoping he makes it to the Chiefs at 9, the Saints at 8, well, the Titans are now the favorite there. They're tied with the favorite with the Commanders at pick 4 and then Commanders at pick 7 at plus 225. I mean, full transparency, Chris, odds like this at this time of year, very hard to nail down.
Yeah, it's too early to tell.
It's more market influenced by like what the public thinks.
Yes.
But
right.
With saying that, you and I during the break, we're talking about it does not feel like there's a world anymore where Jeremiyah Love is in that 7, 8, 9 range. It feels like this has moved to the 3, 4, 5.
I feel like it does. Now, we'll see. And I think, like to expand on what you were saying, I think when some of the most important decision makers start to dig into things here and we start to see more of the value of the draft and how people are really looking at it and who's going to be taken at the top, that certainly can affect the running back conversation to a degree. Right? And we know if there's only 3 tackles out there that the NFL feels like can start day one. Well, their priority's going to go way up, and all of a sudden maybe they're in the top 10. Right? We've seen that happen before. But with Jeremiyah Love, there's no questioning really the last 3 years. He's one of the freakiest players in all of college football. And you go to Notre Dame, and again, Notre Dame's got a ton of freaky athletes right now, and they have for the last few years. It's been that way. And when you go there or talk to people from there and they talk about Jeremiyah Love and how he's the freakiest thing that's come through there in quite some time, all of that, the NFL's got all of this on their radar. And then the common day NFL, as we know, wait, he can run through between the tackles, he can run on the edge, and he can catch the football at a phenomenally high level, right? So that's where you just go, yes, there's going to be great value. He could stay on the field all three downs, and then he put the stamp of approval with his workout here at the Combine on Saturday.
I was doing radio here in New York last night, WFAN, and the host, Lori Rubinson, asked me, she's like, what do you think of the discourse of can a running back go in the top 10? And I was like, it's not the question, can a or should a running back go in the top 10? They really need to do 2 different things on top of being worthy in the draft class to do that, and then it's worth it. One, you need to have breakaway ability.
Yes.
Like, you need to change the game at any touch.
Exactly right.
Which you think of Jahmyr Gibbs right away with that. Jeremiyah Love does that.
Yes.
He consistently does that.
Yes.
The 4.3 speed is real.
Yes.
So he does that. The second thing is you need to significantly impact the pass game. He does that as well. So can you go top 10? Those are things. I already know you're a good runner. I know you can run in any scheme. You create yards after contact. You're smart. You have a good vision. Like, that's the baseline. But if you do the other two things, change the game at any moment because you have speed and affect the pass game, then yes, you could be a top 10 pick.
Agreed.
Does anyone look back and go, wow, the Falcons took Bijan Robinson? And I think Love has better breakaway threat than Bijan Robinson.
He definitely does. I don't think it's even close there.
Right. And I
That's
love
one of the
Bijan.
negatives about Bijan.
Right.
But
It's probably the only thing.
Yeah,
We're like, we wish he broke a couple more.
Right.
But, man, like, this is now, because of this draft class, more of, should Jeremiyah Love just go top 5 because of the impact he makes on an entire offense single-handedly?
That's my argument. That's the argument I've been trying to make. And then I think on top of that, like what we've seen, running backs are the quickest way to change your team. It is. Now, I know you need some sort of line blocking in front to support that. I get that. But like I said earlier, I think the Giants are at that point here. It's different than when they drafted Saquon Barkley, where they had nothing and they can never open up a hole. So, therefore, he can never really take advantage, or we could take advantage of the success he had. But, yes, you want to change over your football team and making them explosive on the offensive side of the ball. And, again, you couple that with Jackson Dart, who moves well, and you can move him and his ability to scramble. And then you have a Malik Neighbors who is going to attract attention, and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Right.
And maybe you get another receiver in the draft at some point, maybe somewhere there. That scares people, or free agency. You look at that and go, oh, my gosh. And then Theo Johnson at tight end. You go, wow, that's a pretty good skill group for the Giants. Pick your poison. What do you want to stop? They got some playmakers. And, to your point, Jeremiyah Lovekin's another one of those guys that can score anywhere, anytime. And then also at the same time, I've seen him in games in Notre Dame go, I can run it up the middle 18 times and get 4 or 5 yards every time. He's 212 pounds. He's bigger than people expect. So, yeah, no way he's getting out of the top 10. I think all the question is Jeremiyah Love in the top 5. I think that's really what it is.
I think another thing that kind of helps the running backs now like him is I feel like job security for a lot of coaches is, what does your quarterback look like?
Yeah.
This is the
guy that helps that out.
The guy.
Yes.
Like, the guy that makes your quarterback look better than even maybe what he actually is.
Right.
So if you're Robert Saleh, what are you going to be judged on this year? I don't think it's his defense. That's part of it.
Yeah, you don't want the defense to be good because you're a defensive coach.
That matters.
But the Cam Ward and his next step.
The staff you hired and the people you put around Cam Ward.
Yes.
If you're John Harbaugh, what does Jackson Dart look like? And Jackson Dart already looked pretty good, so the bar is a little high.
Right.
If you're Mike LaFleur going to Arizona, and I've heard a lot of connections with Malik Willis in Arizona when I was in Indy.
Sure.
We have time left, but that makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
If you're Mike LaFleur, you could probably win 4 games this year, and people aren't going to be yelling to fire you if your offense looks capable.
Exactly. If
you're in the hardest division in football.
Fun, exciting, sexy. The quarterback, we got him. The future's bright. Ooh, we got a playmaking running back. Yes, agreed. I think that's where the league's going right now.
That's my whole take about him going at 3, 4, or 5.
I think if you look at a lot of top quarterback play, they probably have a runner there behind him. Brock Purdy's had McCaffrey.
Right.
Jordan Love's had Josh Jacobs. We saw Sam Darnold have Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet this year. We saw Jalen Hurts with Saquon Barkley. I mean, we saw Chicago, maybe not superstar running back, but focus on the run game and improve their football team.
Yeah,
right?
It's something I wish Bo Nix had.
I think, yes, Bo Nix, and they're trying to get that with R.J. Harvey.
Yes.
I think they're hoping he's that guy. That's why they drafted him at the 2nd round. But, yeah, you're seeing that throughout. New England, what did they do? They ran the ball well. They had Ramondre and Trayvon to help out Drake May the whole year. So, and within that, he never even had to throw for 300 yards to win games and be in the MVP conversation because we did that. You see Jacksonville, Travis Etienne, what they're doing. We know the Chargers are going to be in that with Amarian Hampton and, picking him in the 20s. So that's where it's going to be interesting. But I'm a huge Jeremiyah Love fan. And then, off of Jeremiyah Love, I'm a huge Jadarian Price fan.
Yep.
Jadarian Price. And I want to make sure I get this clear here, too, because idiots on social media driving me crazy. I said he's a better prospect than Amarian Hampton. It didn't mean I don't think Amarian Hampton's awesome. I think Amarian Hampton's great.
I feel like you really liked Amarian Hampton.
I did. I was the only one that put him in the same tier as Ashton Genty. And I had all these people coming at me on social media about like, oh, the Chargers offensive line, when they're healthy this year, you're going to see about Omarion Hampton. Has nothing to do about this year and what that. Omarion Hampton's really damn good. I'm just telling you, watching Omarion Hampton in North Carolina his last year and watching Jadarian Price at Notre Dame, Jadarian Price, I think, is a better football player. He's more explosive. He's every bit as powerful in the run game and all that. And Jadarian Price, I think, solidifies himself, I think, as a first-rounder. Again, in a draft where it doesn't seem like there's a lot of top-tier offensive talent first-round-wise. He's one of the few guys, again, I would put in the category that plays faster than the 4.49 he ran. And when you watch him at Notre Dame, it's a almost score anytime, anywhere on the field type of guy. And then has a style of play where he runs physical and you think he's bigger than he is. That's what's always crazy to me. Jadarian Price looks bigger than Jeremiyah Love in uniform.
Arms and shoulders.
I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
But he's 10 pounds less than Jeremiyah Love.
It's
but
wild.
Regardless, I think with that 4.49 and his showing there that he will be in the first round.
I think so, too. I think the thing teams will want to see when they get to do workouts with him is you didn't have to do a lot in the pass game at Notre Dame.
Right.
Jeremiyah Love was on your team, and you and I have highlighted, like, no, the pass pro's good.
Yes.
He just needs to be thrown the football.
He just has to throw him more. But he can do it. I
think so,
enough
too.
Notre Dame. We've sat here enough on Saturdays because NBC on Notre Dame and gone, okay, yeah, he caught 2 passes today. One was a screen, but it's natural. I wasn't like, oh, man, you can tell he's fighting it. So, and he's going to be smart coming from Notre Dame. So those are 2 guys, 2 Notre Dame running backs I expect to definitely be in the first round.
How about maybe the story of the running backs? Because we knew what Jeremiyah Love's capable of. He had the track background. He's a superstar. Arkansas running back Mike Washington Jr.
I want to ask you about him. Yep. Because one, I watch college football during the year. I saw him a little bit. Did I think that this guy ran 4.33 with a 1.51 split in the 10-yard and all that? Absolutely, I did not. Right? I know you've watched him more than I have, but when you're that big, 6'1", 223, and you put up those type of numbers, those are eye-popping. Those are ones that going to make people go to you first when they start looking at running backs to go, wait, does this guy play? Like his numbers match up? Right. And that's what I'm interested to see, but I want to get your 2 cents because I know you've watched him more than I have.
Yeah, so I looked at him as kind of hovering before this in that like RB 7 or 8 of the class.
Yeah.
So he's well-traveled. He played at Buffalo for a while,
yes.
New Mexico State. Gets to finish his career leveling all the way up to Arkansas, which was a great opportunity for him because it got him in front of scouts and got him to the Senior Bowl and all of that. I didn't think he had – I wrote in the notes before he ever ran, more burst than breakaway speed.
Yes.
So I don't think he plays to this 40, but I think he's a really good athlete at that size. I had great size and overall mass. The long strides helps him build up and bounce through contact when he gets to the second and third level.
Yeah.
We had Arkansas at times this year. I remember Notre Dame killed them when we had that game. They weren't a great team this year. So you wonder in a system that kind of springs him to the second level, like, is there more here? He had 79th percentile in yards after contact. So he was basically in the top 21% in creating his own yards. When you have that kind of frame and that kind of burst,
explosion, right?
If there's anything I've learned from analytics and scouting, Chris, is guys that create their own yards in college because they're big, strong, and fast typically create yards in the NFL.
They do.
It's like one of the most translatable things.
Yes.
Other things are a little hard to figure out, but if you're big and strong and run through people at college in the SEC, you are probably big and strong enough to run through people in the NFL.
I think that this is one. I would be shocked. It's a weird story because it's rare that this freaky of a guy makes that many stops on the way to Arkansas. Right. That's what's different about it. But, yeah, I'm excited to watch him, and I think you kind of hit on the right points. When you're that big and you can accelerate like that, teams are going to look at this and go, wait, Arkansas didn't run the ball all that well. They weren't that great. They didn't even give this guy a chance sometimes to get to the hole without being hit or having to redirect. We're here in the NFL. We know how to block some of these plays. He's going to have plenty of chances to get downhill and not be affected until he gets to the line of scrimmage or the second level there and all of that. But definitely one of those guys at the running back position where you look at it and you go, wow. Like you talk about a guy that threw himself on the radar and helped himself out. No doubt that Mike Washington Jr. did that.
In a class that just doesn't have a lot of guys.
No. So, all right, so after we talk about, just for your money, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but put you on the spot a little bit here, Jeremiyah Love, Jadarian Price, those are the top 2 guys. Who would be your third guy?
Jonah Coleman from Washington.
Washington.
And it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
This is, when you ask guys like who they like and who they compare themselves to, 9 times out of 10, you're like, yeah, everybody wants to be Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley. I get it. Jonah Coleman gave me the player comp that I couldn't agree more with. He said Josh Jacobs, both around 5'9", 220 pounds, drop their pads to run through people, reliable, sturdy, and pass pro, will pass protect, will catch the ball, and have good footwork at that size. Like, yeah, you're 220 pounds, but what does it look like in tight corridors when you need to get around people and stuff?
That's where he's very good. He's very good at that
he's
stuff.
He's not going to run away from people.
No.
Like,
that's why he didn't run.
He didn't run.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't really care. Like, I don't need, unless I need a breakaway back, then you don't ask Jonah Coleman to be that. So
that's a good comparison, though. Josh Jacobs is like that. Acceleration, powerful, right? Can get to the line of scrimmage as quick as possible, can bring it, physical. I'm a fan of it as well, but yeah, the 40 time, it will be looked at. I would think he's probably a 4.6 guy.
Oh, I would take the over.
You would take the over.
I would go like 4.6. So was Josh Jacobs, by the way.
Yeah,
I think he ran a 4.62.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did. I remember that, thinking like, damn, he didn't run a 4.62.
Right, but it's once again like, what do I need from my scheme? Right now, and this is where, in my opinion, teams got it wrong with Kyle Monangai.
Right.
I'm not saying Kyle Monangai should have went in the first 3 rounds. That's not the point. But the 7th round, because he ran a 4.6 something.
Right.
Well, no, I don't need him to run away from people all the time. I need him when I need 3 yards.
You need explosive, 10 to 15 yard ability there to hit the hole and get tough yards and get hit at 3 yards and still get 6 to 8 yards. And that's, again, where we get into size and strength. Those are skills that we sometimes overlook, especially in these type of workouts where we're just looking for speed. But as we know, some of these bigger receivers, running backs who aren't quite as fast and sexy end up kicking butt, like Puka Nacua running them mid to high 4.5. But again, the strength and the ability to accelerate are what makes him him. And I hear you there. So, all right, so there you go, Jonah Coleman. And then after that, are we talking Emmett Johnson?
Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, we are.
Which you've seen him for Nebraska this year. Emmett Johnson, one of the biggest breakout players in the country this year. The short area agility is phenomenal. The way he can make people miss so quickly and reaccelerate, affect the pass game. He is an excellent worker. He's somebody that, like, if you need that kind of creativity in the open field, he's going to be able to do that for you.
Right.
The only player that, once again, you ask these guys, they talk about current running backs. NFL historian, which was kind of cool, loves Walter Payton.
Wow.
Loves Barry Sanders.
Right.
Loves LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, goes back and
you don't see that all the time.
Goes back and watches those guys. And he said to me and Lawrence, which made us laugh, he's like, you might not know about, Walter Payton. We're like, we know about Walter Payton. Watches the 49ers run game.
Yeah.
Like, he just loves NFL football. Grew up in inner city Minneapolis, 10 minutes from the stadium, huge Vikings fan. So, like, a lot of these guys, they might be from a college town or they might be from an area that's about the high school football. He's about NFL football.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he had a great meeting with the Vikings, which is kind of cool. Even if he doesn't get picked by the Vikings, like, to grow up in that city, 10 minutes from the stadium, love the Vikings, loved Adrian Peterson, and then get to meet Kevin O'Connell, you could tell how much he cherished that. He's awesome.
They're gonna need a running back,
and he fits what they do.
He does fit what they do.
So I was like, that's one of the stories I'm rooting for now.
And came from kind of a pro-style offense in Nebraska there that he's going to be able to translate there. But, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be shocked if he ended there. But, yes, he's impressive, no question.
Right.
Had a good day, got a really good combine, it looks like, altogether. I'll be interested to see where he goes. But, yeah, probably like a day 2 guy that's
third
round, somewhere in there, right?
You know what's a funny thing, and I feel like you and I share the same brain with this stuff? I like when the skill guys wear the sleeveless at the combine. And Emmett said it to me right away. He's like, I've been working so hard. Like, I'm so proud. Like, I was like, you look great.
Yeah.
And like, when you show the sleeveless, it's like, oh no, I've been working my ass off for 2 months, living in the weight room and dieting. And I remember Tyrone Tracy was like that.
The look test is important.
At running back,
and it shows exactly, and it shows that like one of the litmus tests of the combine is just to show, is he ready? Did he prepare?
Right?
Did he do what he needs to do to look his best in this situation? And yeah, that's something like about that has value to football teams to show that he's committed and he's going to do the right things as we go forward here.
All right, pass catchers.
Yeah,
I got 2 for you.
Okay,
here. Jeremy Bernard from Alabama.
Right.
Does not play a sexy brand of football, and I mean that.
But I love him.
I mean it in the nicest way. Goes over the middle of the field.
Yes.
Blocks. Tough. Great teammate. The 6'7" 1-3 cone, that was the fastest finding wide receiver. phenomenal metric for him.
Yes.
Because all people talk about Jeremy, is he fast enough? Can he do this? No, he's quick enough. That's the difference. And I said to him, I'm like, you have no wide receiver personality at all. I was like, it makes no sense. I mean it in the nicest way. I was like, explain it to me. He's like, well, the first position I ever played in football was guard. And I was like, guard? He's like, yeah, I played guard.
So there you go.
And I was like, well, that's why you are a wide receiver with an offensive lineman's mentality.
He's a football player.
Yes, that's exactly
the big thing about it. He caught my eye a ton during the year. Jeremy Bernard and, to me, Zacharian Branch are the two guys off the beaten path because the top receivers didn't run. For the most part, right?
Anything.
We didn't see them do anything. So within that, we went to this group of guys, and Jeremy Bernard and Zacharian Branch from Georgia are the two guys after the top guys that I go, ooh, man, I don't know. I haven't studied them yet, but I just know during the college football year, I was impressed with them all the time about their versatility at the receiver position, their toughness at the receiver position. They can go over the middle. They can run block. They break tackles. They do all of that. And they come from teams with, a little bit of a culture and toughness at that position. So they're two that I think jumped out to me, along with Malik Benson having a good day from Oregon running the 4.37.
That's someone else that I need to watch more of. Kate Gemma said pro comp for Bernard. The first thing I wrote down when I watched him months ago, I was like, this is lofty, but he plays the way Jarvis Landry played. It's the same way where, like, I don't care about the 40. You're going to do all the right things. You're going to work areas of the field that no receiver wants to because they don't want to get smashed in the head 50 times. That kind of player.
Bernard 6'7" in the 3-cone. What were the rest of the numbers?
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious as well if he did anything else.
I don't think he did, and that's where I'm blanking out.
Oh, he did. He did everything.
He did it all.
4.48 40, which shocks me.
Yep, 1.52.
Good for him.
But that speaks to that explosion again you're talking about. He's going to be a slot receiver. He's going to be a slot receiver.
Blocks a lot.
Where they can trust he can play outside and beat you deep or do stuff like that. But, slot receiver, speed sweeps, over the middle, fake the shallow cross, plant your foot in the ground, come back out, get the ball like that. That's where he's going to be made right there.
He really went to bat for Ty Simpson. You know when you ask a guy about their quarterback and they have like the cataloged answer, or sometimes you don't get any answer, and then you get the answer of like, oh no, you loved him. He went the extra mile for Ty Simpson, which said something to me.
It does say something.
Yeah,
well, we're going to talk quarterbacks on tomorrow's podcast, but there is something that needs to be said about Ty Simpson. So I'm glad he did. Ty Simpson, to me, is being a little bit overlooked in this whole conversation right now, as far as a possible first-round quarterback or everybody that thinks that he'll be there late in the first round. I'm interested to dive in here this week because this is the week I'm starting to dive in and get ready for this. But like I told you, the few plays I watched from last week, and just to get his good, it's very intriguing.
One more receiver for you, Chris.
Let me hear it.
UConn, the basketball school, wide receiver Skyler Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, how many chances does this guy get to kind of be in the national spotlight? He had lucrative NIL deals on the table last offseason and chose to stay because he saw the big picture. He felt UConn was the best place to feature him, develop him. He was comfortable there. He's from the Bronx, so it's close enough to home.
Sure.
Played his high school football in Connecticut, so he decides to stay. He's one of the guys that did everything. 41-inch vertical, 11-1 broad. I mean, catches everything. He's got
film looks like this.
UConn had to use him almost like Zay Flowers because he's the offense. It's like, guess what? You're in the backfield. You're in the slot.
So they just did everything.
You're just touching the ball 12 times a game. 10-inch hands, not the biggest wide receiver, but 10-inch hands. You meet him, and you're like, that's why you catch literally everything.
Exactly.
Very, very impressive. Operates like a professional already. Just can't see any world where he's not a solid NFL player.
Yeah, 6 foot, 192. Run the ball. I mean, obviously, you got receiving skills too. You think he can do that type of stuff? Real ball skills.
Yeah, he might have had the catch of the year against Syracuse, and they lost. I think it might have been to overtime. It might have been the catch of the year, like that kind of ball skills. Ran a 4.4. So speed's there.
Interesting.
It's just all there.
Yeah.
He'll be overlooked. Like, he won't be mentioned in the top or in the second-tier receivers.
But it's all right. We see that group every year show up when the season starts.
That's my third-rounder, like, put a stamp on all day.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm pumped to watch him. There sounds like there's a lot of receivers that are kind of flying under the radar that I'm dying to,
The classic day two.
Because we just hear about the big guys, and we know day two can be really the guys that are the biggest superstars. All right, tight ends.
Oh, boy.
I mean, we talked about Kenyon Sadiq. His physique, his body, I mean, the explosion, all of it.
Kind of interesting guy.
Incredible, yeah. I mean, cerebral,
That's
smart.
what came to mind for me.
No question.
From Idaho?
It was Idaho.
Where it was like, what?
And I was like, what? Idaho? How did they have guys like you in Idaho? I was shocked.
Well, there was one of them. And he probably beat everybody in every sport.
He did, for sure. But the day he had, and then, of course, Eli Stowers, we got to talk about that. Eli Stowers is a guy I don't know a ton about. I know Kenyon Sadiq.
Well, I'll give you the background.
I certainly got to see him and knew. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq was so good that when you evaluated, what's his name that went to the Rams at tight end, this last year.
Terrence Ferguson.
Terrence Ferguson, where you would go, damn, who is this other guy over here? And just the body in the lower half especially, you just don't see tight ends built like that a whole lot. 6'3", 241, muscles everywhere, 43.5-inch vertical. I see people compare him to Trey McBride or Brock Bowers, and I certainly get that when you watch what he did at the Combine this weekend.
So you'll love this. Stowers was a 4-star quarterback recruit.
Wow.
Quarterback recruit. And not a quarterback recruit that's how he was recruited. You get to college, you play something else. He was at Texas A&M as a quarterback. Ends up switching positions. By the way, former Texas 6A state high jump champion. So he's the high jump champion in high school.
In Texas.
In the state of Texas.
Yes. Next level.
Yeah. So next level. Eventually switches over to tight end. You watch this offense, and he's well-traveled. Like, he played at New Mexico State. He had 28 carries in 2023. 28.
I'm amazed by some of these stories. So what's it look like when you watch him on film? I mean, has he got a chance to be something, or is this just some, like,
not
workout?
McBride or Bowers, but definitely that unique, like, weapon at tight end. They run this pitch play with him all the time, like almost like a shovel, to just let him be an athlete out there. I haven't nailed a player comp for him yet, but it's more of like freaky mismatch player.
Yeah.
Like, you know how the Browns use Fannin, and he's a way better athlete than Harold Fannin was. I think that's how you'd want to use him.
Right.
This like off the line of scrimmage pass catcher. Let's use him in the backfield. I mean, it would be
Aaron Hernandez-ish.
Right.
Right? Like, I know everybody wants to bring up that name, but Aaron Hernandez was phenomenal and could do all this stuff. He was probably the first guy that you kind of looked at that could do that at the tight end position.
Jonnu Smith.
Yes, right. Similar. Exactly that kind of guy. So, but we look at Kenyon Sadiq to almost be that way as well, don't we?
Do.
Right?
Yeah.
He's going to be similar.
I don't even know what to – I mean, the only guy that has ever been like Kenyon Sadiq is Vernon Davis, like athletically.
Yes.
There's just no one to draw back to.
No, there definitely is not. Not that I can think of that's like this. But Sadiq in a field or a class by himself at the tight end position, right? Is he the only guy we expect to be in the first round?
Yeah.
Right? It's Sadiq.
I don't think any other tight end will go in the first round. I don't know if a tight end will go in the second.
Okay.
Stowers had to put on a show. You know, Sam Roush from Stanford's a really good player. Max Clare from Ohio State's a good player.
Right, yeah.
I just think they're clustered.
Yes.
And Sadiq wasn't as productive as he should have been
Definitely
this year.
not.
But
no.
it just does, these guys just go.
Yeah.
You know, you think of a Philadelphia, a San Francisco, a Denver.
Definitely.
And I don't even know if he's there anymore. That's so far down the draft. But they probably look at this and go, we know how to use him. We could throw him a screen.
Yeah.
We can have him run the seam. We'll put him in the backfield and use him like use
willing
check.
Blocker.
Loves it.
Yes, not afraid to get
It's
dirty.
kind of shocking.
Yes. I remember watching him early in the year when we were getting ready to do him on the pregame show, and I kind of went, man, this guy is not just Mr. Catch the Football, and I just want to do that. He's ready to get after it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to see how the plan for him. Because I wish Oregon had a little bit of a better one. There was times where it's like perfect. There was also times where it's like, do you forget the freakiest football player in the world is out there for you right now?
Yeah.
So
a lot of college teams don't know how to use the tight end. We know that. So that's the hard thing. Yeah. And it's definitely more of an NFL niche thing.
Yeah.
And quarterbacks aren't as comfortable throwing to the tight ends in college football until they get in the NFL, and the coordinators go, no, you got to just trust this guy. He's big. Throw it here. We made this play for him, and it becomes more of a focal point. But yeah, regardless, Sadiq puts himself in rare class as a freak of nature, and I'm excited to kind of study him, but definitely excited to see this Eli Stowers because, those kind of numbers are going to make everybody look to see if he can be something special here in the NFL.
How about this in the chat from K. Gemma? There's no way Connor's going to be able to be this sharp on obscure players post-fatherhood. Dude still also has to cover a team with a coach who was sleeping at the combine.
Oh, I love it. He was not sleeping.
No, I think he was looking at his phone.
I think he was looking. He had a computer in front of him. I think he was just sitting there like that, kind of looking at the computer. And then somebody told him, then he decided to perk up.
Yes.
And it made him look worse than he
low angle
was. Yes.
They've done this to multiple people at the combine.
Yes.
if anyone was like, if you had a camera below me right now and I was reading our rundown, you could think I'm nodding off.
Totally.
So
the angle was not favorable for him.
I don't go to bat for Aaron Glenn a ton.
No.
So like I think this means something coming from me. It was a tough year for Aaron Glenn. I don't think Aaron Glenn was asleep.
I can promise you he wasn't asleep. He's
go.
not asleep. He's looking down right there, and now somebody going, "Hey, you're on."
Yep.
And he went, "Hey, let me perk up a little bit."
Yep.
Or, "Oh, okay."
That made it worse.
Yeah, it totally did. If he just stayed in the same position, nobody would have thought anything of it.
Yes.
It made it seem like he was asleep and somebody walked. But just for everybody out there that's like, first off, there's rows in front of him. He's not there as the head coach sleeping with other people in the organization turning around going, "Oh, look at our head coach there asleep." Like he's going to get he'll be fired by the end of the year if those type of things happen at the draft with your organization going, "Damn, our head coach starts, they start telling everybody around football, our head coach fell asleep during the freaking combine." He was not asleep, even though he's going to get dragged like he was asleep. Sorry about your Jets, man.
Yeah, it's all right. You got, like, LOL Jets just follows us throughout. Everybody's just looking for something each week, so it happens. Listen, we're going to take one more break here. When we're back, though, of course, we're bringing down all the defensive players that stood out at the Combine. All right, maybe the stars of this draft class after Fernando Mendoza, the front seven players, Chris. And you and I got to talk to Rueben Bain, which was pretty cool.
Oh, what?
Do an interview together.
Really cool. I mean,
Rueben
Bain, the pass rushers in general are always impressive to see. Rueben Bain, all about that business. You could just tell that, right? There's not going to be a ton of joking around. Great kid, but he's there to play football. David Bailey, I found David Bailey to be awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know more because I didn't get to. I was interviewing someone when you guys had him on, and I've loved this player for a long time.
You should. You're getting a top-notch professional human being here.
What did you think of like him physically?
Yes.
Because I think there's I'll say it nicely, nonsense narrative that he's this small speed rusher.
No.
And then the measurements came in, and I'm like, what
was it, 6'3", 250?
Long arms.
Right, long arms.
He was 251.
Yeah.
He was basically the size of Will Anderson.
Yes. I mean, incredible shoulders and arms. I mean, when I looked at him, I went, okay, I got no problem with his body. Certainly not. And then the attitude on top of that, I found him to be very smart, very witty, understands life, understands what it's going to take to be good at his craft. So, to me, just, again, without watching the film, but knowing that he's a projected top 5, top 10 guy, and then the human, and we've heard so much emphasis on the human the last year in the draft process. Does he love football? Can we trust him? Is he going to work hard? I sit here now on March 2nd and go, David Bailey looks like he's one of the more safer picks of the top 10, really.
He knows how to get after the quarterback.
Yes.
And it's when you know how to do that, I mean, it gives you something to stand on. I think he's getting better as a run defender, which helps as well. Deeper in the edge group.
Yes.
Cashius Howell.
Right.
One of the more polarizing players in
I'm
this
interested
group.
to break him down.
Basically, I think I said to you, Nick Herbig.
Yes.
I mean, outside of him, like, there's just not players with this lack of length that play on the edge in the NFL. But he's such a unique mover that he constantly beats offensive tackles.
That's where I remember him again from the college football year. Definitely, I was like, oh gosh, who's that guy on the edge? He's explosive as hell. You heard me say the Nick Bonito thing a few times last week to that. Now, this is what's funny, and this is where, again, I like being there because I like Cashius Howell a lot. Cool kid, definitely. Right, definitely got, love for the sport, all of that. But at the same time, when I saw that he was 6'2.5", 253, I went, what? Was he really? Like, he did not look as big as David Bailey.
I don't think so.
Right?
On film, I don't think so.
No, and it doesn't look like that in person either. And again, that's where, as we talked about last week, 6'3" or 6'4", 250 is not all the same. They're not. And yes, I thought Howell's overall physical stature was not quite as imposing as David Bailey, who has broader shoulders and is 6'4", and has the type of body too where you go, man, it looks pretty dense, and it looks like there's places to grow still as well. Like, he's not done. He can thicken out. Would I be shocked if we were sitting here next year and they're like, David Bailey's now 6'4", 262? And I'd go, yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
NFL
right?
program.
Cashius Howell, I want to say, is he really 252, or was that a combine? I put on weight, water weight, weighed in heavier than what I really am, and then then he ran 4.59, where I go, he's faster than 4.59, but he's probably carrying an extra 10 pounds.
Right.
That's where, again, I don't know these things. I'm just connecting dots as I go through here and we go through the draft process. You and I, and I'll figure out what he played at exactly during the regular season. Somebody will tell me, but like what I saw on film a little last week to what I saw in person, made me believe that I watched a guy that was probably 240 or 238 during the regular season, and then got done with the season. Right? They lose in the college football playoff. Hey, size is going to be the one thing everybody's going to question you about.
You don't have the
let me
length
get bigger. Let me get bigger. Let me weigh in. But then it might have compromised some of his speed, because he does look faster than 4.59 or 1.58.10. The 1.58.10 was slower than I expected for Cashius Howell from what I saw on film just last week watching the 30 plays. Right.
A guy that I need to go back to, and I've watched a little bit of, but blew up, is UCF's Malachi Lawrence.
Yes.
I mean,
every year we have a few of these guys where you're just like, who? And I don't know.
Diaby was one.
Exactly.
Yeah, where it's like, whoa.
Eli Stowers on tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a similar type of thing here. But when you're 6'4", 253, you almost have 34-inch arms, and then you go 4.52, 1.59, 40-inch vertical, and a 10.10 broad. Like, yes, everybody's going to look at you. So I'm pumped to kind of see what he's all about. But, yes, as far as the workout, the combine's concerned, he was one of the stars of the weekend.
He can explode off the ball. So the test, it actually is real. The 40-inch vert,
yes.
The 10-11 broad, that's his calling card.
Now it's going to be, can you play football? And that's where I'm interested with guys like him. I want to know about Sonny Styles. Is Sonny Styles in here? But I'll ask you about him, because he's one guy that I did not watch 30 plays with before last week. Kind of was like, I know him a little bit. I've seen him enough through the year and all that. Is Sonny Styles physical? That's going to be my biggest thing. You think he is?
Physical enough for how he, his style.
So if he's physical enough, then he's going to be a top 5, top 6 pick for sure.
Think so.
Especially with those type of numbers.
Yeah, I think that he's someone, of course, he's going to be giving up some weight when a pulling offensive lineman gets on him, but there's no fear. No fear.
That's all I need to know.
It's like,
I don't care. You know me. I'm big into hesitation at the linebacker position. The good ones don't have it. They don't have hesitation. All right, so off of that, now tell me about his brother, Lorenzo.
So I'm catching up on the safeties. Yeah. This is one where former wide receiver, I believe at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So the athleticism is insane. Feels like a really, really high-end special teamer.
Gotcha.
That maybe can be that third safety.
Right.
But I'm going to go back and watch him again. Because it's one of those ones where I'm like, that's unique athleticism. It's obviously bloodlines. Their dad played. Sonny's insane. It was unreal how athletic this safety group was. It was Dillon Thieneman.
Well, let's talk about that, because, again,
this is real.
I mean, it is real, huh? I mean, it obviously is real, because the way he's talked about, and then when you have the rest of the numbers with it, that's insane. But, did he jump out to me yesterday? I went, wait, the guy that I had on the show, the white guy, he ran 4.35, 1.52, like that. I mean, sorry. Yeah, that doesn't happen a lot. That does not happen a lot. 6 foot, 201 white guy who runs 1.35 and 1.52 and has a 41-inch vertical. Sorry. Yeah, it does not happen a lot. So I was like, wow. But it sounds like it is real. He's a player too. We talking about in the back end?
He's a real player. You go back to the freshman tape at Purdue, and it was like, who the hell is this freshman? Sideline to sideline range, ball hawking, can fly around. Transfers to Oregon. There's a ton of great players, so he kind of goes under the radar a little bit, but he's still Dillon Thieneman, the ball hawking safety. He's got that downhill speed. Man, I think he's going in the top 20.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. And you play for Dan Lanning and that defense. I mean, that should have been my first clue. You're like, wait, Dan Lanning pulled this guy to come across the country to be his safety. He's obviously got to be physically gifted, right? So that's what we saw. Then has the body on top of that. All right, so you got him. And then the other safety that, of course, that I'm going to be really intrigued by that was awesome in person. Right, who's
you
really?
Liked him.
I thought he had a lot of charisma and pizzazz, and he gets it. Was Emmanuel McNeil-Warren,
enforcer?
Yes,
I mean, you saw the body,
strong safety, really hitter.
But what's crazy is he has some instincts to take away the ball in the air.
Right.
At Toledo, I'll pull it up. They just use him everywhere.
He looks like an Emmanuel in person.
Exactly. Yep.
It's that kind of guy. But my question with Emmanuel, what I did not love about him is I did not think he was the greatest tackler in the world.
I didn't think so
I
either.
thought he had a little bit of a hesitation and physicality a little bit. I saw the athleticism. I knew he was going to be awesome in coverage and be able to run sideline to sideline. But I was like, I don't think he really wants to hit.
No fear with McNeil.
This guy?
Holy smokes.
Okay.
Like, I think when guys get up, they're like kind of fixing the shoulder pads and like making sure the face.
He brings it.
He hits at the line of scrimmage.
All
but
right.
he's got these Inspector Gadget arms that make plays in the air on the ball where it's like, I might be able to kind of use you as like an interchangeable, like we can have you rotate and disguise coverages and then kick to the slot against a tight end and then come down and play the run.
Well, we know that's a popular thing.
The only thing that was stopping him from round one, and now it's over, is he going to run a 4.6 plus?
Okay.
He ran a 4.52.
Ran a 4, not even close.
Because it's Toledo.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to do the Senior Bowl, and then he didn't because everybody drops out of the Senior Bowl. Toledo is just like DBU right now.
It's incredible.
Every year, it's like, oh, what do we got this year from Toledo? But you wanted to see him in an environment with better players.
So you can just measure it up and go, wait, is he really as fast as I think he is? Is he really as physical as I think he is? All right, so that's cool to know.
I think he's forced 8 fumbles the last 2 years. Yeah. Something like out of this world. Yeah, it's
you know me. I'm a sucker for a crazy safety. I love that.
That's the one.
Yeah. Well, I'm a crazy ex-quarterback. You're just crazy in general.
That's right.
Actually, you're sane, and you keep me sane. But everybody, that's it. That's it for today's pod. I hope everybody enjoyed it out there on YouTube Live. You know where to find us tomorrow. All right. Okay.
Breaking news.
Pete's in my ear. Oh, and David Montgomery is getting traded to the Houston Texans for everybody out there. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, David Montgomery's still a damn good player. We knew he wanted out. We knew he wanted out of Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy going forward. Montgomery's had to share carries wherever he goes. And Houston, as we know, has nobody dependable, really, other than some younger guys. So here we got a veteran sledgehammer in the middle. And I think that's the perfect thing, and I understand that.
Perfect
For
way
a
to put it.
fifth-round pick, the contract's already set. He's not getting paid a ton of money, getting paid good money. So we'll see where that goes. But regardless, the Houston Texans, Nick Caserio, one of the best GMs in the business, making moves as always. Tomorrow, we're doing our pod again, okay? It won't be live. We're going to tape it. But all quarterbacks. That's all we're going to talk about. Quarterback. That's how we split it up. Not that we're going to hit on every guy. We're going to hit on all the guys we got thoughts on. We're going to break down the workouts and some other things on top of that. So you know where to find us, Connor. As always, you the man.
Hell yeah.
Nice hoodie by you today. As always, Mr. Fashionista over there. All right, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you Tuesday. Simms Unbuttoned. You know where to find us. Peace.